in Duchenne muscular dystrophy, the genetic mutation is in dystrophin, resulting in a truncated or dysfunctional dystrophin protein. The strategy that Dyne has employed is to use the Fab against the TFR1, just like we did in myotonic dystrophy, to deliver the genetic payload here in DMD. So that force platform and the ability to access hundreds of millions of muscle cells, skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, cardiac, and just like in DM1, the CNS is also in play here because all of those tissues matter in DMD as well. But what we've learned in DMD is that kind of naked ASOs or PMOs, which is a form of an ASO, they don't get to the tissue enough. And that's why the force platform really matters here. What z-rostudirsen does is it facilitates a skipping of the mutation in the dystrophin gene, allowing you to bypass it and therefore express a nearly full-length and very functional dystrophin protein. And that's very different from, for example, gene therapies, which deliver a much smaller microdystrophin. And so the DMD field has, for many decades, been kind of locked on the dystrophin increase. And although dystrophin is important, and although we are delivering unprecedented dystrophin levels that we're very excited about, we're also excited that this increase in dystrophin here is translating to patients getting stronger, faster, quicker, more independent. It is really resulting in a functional improvement from baseline. And remember, we're not just talking about a slowing of decline. We're talking about an actual improvement from baseline. And so that's really exciting to us. And so we have a registration, a dose expansion cohort that has been fully enrolled, and that data set comes out by the end of this year, and we believe that can support accelerated approval. And the basis for that accelerated approval is dystrophin change from baseline. Now, we are looking at the functional measures. We will also do a phase 3 study, which is longer and bigger, and we will unlock really more and more of that functional improvement through the phase 3, but we're excited about what we've seen so far.
Yeah, the conversations around treating DMD have certainly shifted a lot over the last 5, 10 years or so. And it's been awesome to see the therapeutic development. It's been awesome to see the different mechanisms that have come into play and just the ability to talk about improving patients and not just keeping them stable, but actually seeing some improvements is quite a significant thing to say the least. Doug, last question for you, and I appreciate you taking some time to lend some clinical insights on some of these therapeutics, which obviously our clinical community is very much looking forward to some of the data that's being read out and the news that should come over the next couple of months, which kind of brings me to my last question. You talked a little bit about the ongoing DELIVER trial right there for a second. So can you provide a little bit more insights on what that trial looks like, as well as how that trial is going to help kind of fuel that accelerated approval submission?
Yep. So the DELIVER trial for z-rostudirsen was also a multiple ascending dose cohort to identify the key dose and dose regimen that would unlock this functional improvement. Interestingly, through that portion of the DELIVER study, we saw sustained and functional improvement at 10 milligrams per kilogram Q4, as well as at our go-forward dose, which is 20 milligrams Q4 weeks. That's really important because if you go back and look at those data, they are different in terms of the 10 milligram per kilogram cohort was a bit younger, a bit healthier, a bit faster, and they showed a functional improvement. But the 20 milligram per kilogram cohort was a bit older, slower, more disabled, and yet they too have shown a functional improvement. So what that indicates to us is a broad impact across a broad portion of the DMD community amenable to exon 51 skipping. So that has allowed us to go forward with this dose expansion cohort of 32 patients, randomized 3-to-1, with a 6-month readout, which is the change from baseline in dystrophin. And we and others have confirmed, and we have known this in the DMD community, that change from baseline in dystrophin will be the basis for accelerated approval when we look at those data this fall.